Hello. Good afternoon. How are y'all doing? Good. My name's TJ. I'm the program coordinator here at the Library and Observatory. It's my pleasure to welcome you this afternoon. How many of you all have been to one of Chef Shannon's before? Awesome. Well, welcome back. And how many of you are new today? Whoa. That's amazing. How did you hear about it? Just shout it out. How did you hear about today's program? Email and from your sister. That's what I heard. Oh, the Sunshine Sisters. Welcome to the Sunshine Sisters. Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. The library brochure. Yeah. So it does seem that people really do. Our emails, we do send emails about just about all of our programming. So that's if you're not on that list and you want to get those, that'll keep you up to date. And then our program guide also has pretty much everything. It's pretty rare that we add anything, and we almost never have to cancel anything. So this has got pretty much everything in it. We're working right now on our summer program guide, which will have all of our information for our summer reading club program. But more than ever, in the 7.5 years I've been here, this will be the most specific programming for adults locally that are here all year will happen this summer. So we're very excited about that. And Kayla Waybright, who some of you may know, has done a really great job. She does a lot of our teen programming, and she's been adding more and more of those smaller group programs, adult crafting programs. So look for more of that this summer. We've also got some great film series lined up, so it should be a really great summer. Final reminder for today, if you haven't yet, please do take a moment to just silence or turn off your cell phone. And then I also wanted to remind everybody that programs like this one are paid for through our nonprofit foundation, the Library and Observatory Foundation. And a lot of different funding streams come in, but one thing that helps fund these programs are individual sponsorships for our programs. So we're very grateful to Jerry and Lori Ernst, who sponsored this entire series over the next 3 weeks. So thank you so much to Jerry and Lori. But with that, I would like to go ahead and bring out our chef that everyone loves. Chef Shannon has been a plant-based chef for over 30 years. She's worked as an executive chef, a head baker, a caterer, a culinary instructor. She's now an author. She takes people on amazing overseas trips, and she loves to share the benefits of plant-based eating and how that healthy food can even be really, really delicious. And take my word for it, it always is, to be honest. Welcome, Chef Shannon Bush.
Thank you, everybody. I was able to see the show of hands to all the people that are new today, and I'm thrilled. Thank you. Welcome. Glad to have you here with us. And for familiar faces, I'm really glad you're here too. I have to say, every time one of these series starts, I get a little nervous that nobody's going to show up. So, we're okay today. Hopefully you'll be back next week, and then the following Monday as well. Doing it a little differently this time, where I'll be here each Monday, each of the next 3 Mondays. So hope to see you for a different topic the next couple of weeks. Who loves tofu? Who not so much? Yeah, who wants to love it? But just, okay. I hope these recipes will help you today. I've used a lot of tofu in my recipes, in my classes that I've done here, but today I really thought about the people out there that know it's really, really good for you to eat tofu, but just can't get past the big, white, bland chunks of blah. Yeah, I know. I've been to those restaurants too. It's no fun when it's just a big, bland piece of nothing. So I really tried to incorporate the tofu in the first 2 dishes we're going to do. It's kind of hidden in a way. If you were to just taste it, you might not necessarily know the dishes are made with tofu. So tofu, nutritional powerhouse. It's got protein, it's got calcium, it's got iron. It's just good for us on so many levels. I do like to just say this when I'm talking about tofu. I know a lot of men have heard the rumor that it contains estrogen. So a lot of men are afraid of it, but tofu actually contains phytoestrogen, which is very different. Phytoestrogen is a regulator. If your body doesn't have enough estrogen, it'll help regulate it so that it does have the optimal amount. And same with the opposite situation. So there's so many great things about it. I encourage you to read up on it if you're trying to find a way to love tofu. So we're going to start with a peanut noodle salad. I chose to use udon noodles today. You can use any kind of noodle you like. Glass noodles are really great with this, the ones that are made with sweet potatoes. Rice noodles, any kind of noodle works great with this dish. And the tofu gets incorporated into the sauce, and you hardly know it's there. So let's get busy and make some. And it comes together really fast and easy. One of the things I love about it is you can eat it cold or warm. I'm going to do today's dish cold, but if I were intending to serve it warm, I would probably, instead of using a mixing bowl, put all of my sauce ingredients straight into a saucepan on the stove and just slowly heat it as I whisk all the ingredients together. So the first thing going in is some peanut butter. And I hope, for those of you that have peanut butter at home, that you have real peanut butter at home. I really hope that you'll read the label if you don't already. There really should be only two things in peanut butter, in my humble opinion. There should be peanuts and a little bit of salt. What happens is that peanuts, when you grind them up, the naturally occurring oil in them separates if you let it sit for long. So a lot of people look at that jar on the shelf and they see that, sliver of oil at the top and think, ooh, I don't want to buy that. But that's what you do want. You do want that. And if you just store that jar upside down in your pantry, that oil won't be at the top when you open the jar. What you don't want is to buy the one where there is no oil at the top, because that means they've extracted that peanut oil and they've put in some kind of oil that's bad for you, like a palm oil. And for people, a lot of people come to vegan eating because they don't want to go on cholesterol medication and they want to keep their cholesterol at healthy levels. So you really want to be careful, if that is you, not to eat things with palm oil, coconut oil. You don't want the saturated fats or the cholesterol. And so it's very common to find peanut butter made that way. So just my 2 cents worth. I'm now going to add some silken tofu. Silken tofu, if you've never used it, it's very soft and silky, like the name implies. But it's really nice if you use it in a dish where you want the tofu to break up, because it's really easy to mix it. I'm just sticking my measuring cup right into the tofu container and just getting half cup of the tofu. This is not shelf-stable tofu. This is a refrigerated one. But a lot of the shelf-stable tofu is the soft variety, and that would work fine as well. This one is from Whole Foods. So, what was I going to say? Oh, the silken tofu, just full disclosure, it doesn't have quite as high of nutrient levels as medium or firm tofu. And the reason is because it has a high water content. That's what makes it so soft. So there's less of the soy and more water in it. But still very good for you, of course. All right. You know, at home I don't need to follow my recipes, but when I'm here in front of you, I get so nervous. Just got to keep glancing down there. All right, I'm going to add some water. Going to add some reduced sodium soy sauce. Couple tablespoons. So even though this is reduced sodium, it's still going to provide our dish or our sauce with plenty of saltiness so that we don't have to add any other type of sodium. That's actually next on the list. Someone asked if you can use liquid aminos, coconut aminos. I'm a huge fan. I was actually going to get some as door prizes today, and when I went to get it, they didn't have any. So coconut aminos, very similar taste to soy sauce, slightly sweeter, but it has significantly less sodium. And most of us need to have less sodium in our lives. So it's a great option to wean you off of just full-strength soy sauce. I also use it in many other things too, not just Asian dishes. But what it is, it's the nectar from the coconut blossom. So it doesn't have any saturated fat or cholesterol like coconut oil would. It's just simply the nectar from the blossom. The other interesting thing about coconut aminos, they call it cocoa aminos because it actually has all 9 essential amino acids in it. So a lot of times with my recipes, you'll see that I'll do like a half and half or similar ratio between soy sauce and coconut aminos. And that's because I just want to lighten the sodium but still keep the nice flavor. Just to give you an example, so I mentioned earlier that I was using reduced sodium soy sauce. So let's see, a tablespoon of the reduced sodium soy sauce has 530 milligrams of sodium. That's reduced sodium, so imagine the full strength. So a tablespoon of coconut aminos, or cocoa aminos for short, has 200. So it's quite a difference. Who was counting? Did I put 2 in there? Yeah. One more. Good measure. So I didn't end up bringing any coconut aminos for door prizes today, but I do have some nice udon noodles that need a good home. So hopefully you'll want to go home and try this noodle dish. Okay. So now we need some seasoned rice vinegar. We go through this stuff by the bucketful in my house. I use it on so many things, and definitely get the seasoned one if you're not familiar with it. It just adds a nice punch to almost anything you want to put it in. Easy to find. Almost every store has it. What do we need? So now some fresh ginger and garlic. So I don't know about you, but sometimes I like to take the easy way out. And I love having these frozen fresh ginger cubes in the freezer, ready to just pop into a dish. No cleanup, no mess. So I'm going to put some fresh ginger. I don't know. A little less than a teaspoon, I guess. So garlic, I'm going to put a couple of the garlic in. You can put more ginger too. I actually have it's funny, I have a friend that often comes to these classes that does not care for ginger. So I always tread lightly with the ginger on these recipes because I don't want to scare her away. Whoops. But she's not here today, so let's throw another ginger cube in. This one has some lemon juice, water and lemon juice. Yeah, do read the labels. Some of them, actually saw one once that had milk in it, which, yes, very strange. Frozen ginger and frozen garlic cubes can be found at just about any grocery store I can think of here in the Valley. Whole Foods has them, Trader Joe's has them, Albertsons has them. The problem is they're tiny little containers and they're sometimes hard to find, but they're there because I think I've bought them everywhere. I'm going to throw them back in my little cooler here because I don't want them to totally thaw. All right. So we've got ginger, we've got garlic. So now the good stuff, the sambal. Sambal is just a chili sauce. It's ground chilies. And you can find it plain, and you can also find it with garlic. So we're going to have all kinds of garlic today. So you might, I don't know how much you like spice. I love it, so I would just put a couple of teaspoons in. I'm going to do like 1.5 because I want my library friends that are going to eat this to invite me back. I don't want to overdo it. But if you're not familiar with it, maybe try the 1 teaspoon and then taste it when you have it all combined and add more if you would like. And the sambal you can find just about everywhere as well. Now I'm going to add a little toasted sesame oil. You can find regular sesame oil, but you really want the toasted one. Toasted one just has a huge pop of flavor. It's really delicious. And what else? Okay, so it needs just a smidge of sweetness. So I'm choosing to use the last of my maple syrup to add just a pinch of sweetness to it. Hopefully that's enough. So about a teaspoon is just about right. All right. For those of you that are helping me out, did I forget anything? All right. You can also throw this in your blender. I've done that, but I find it a pain because it's a pretty thick sauce and you really have to work hard to get it all out of your blender. So whatever you like to do, it'll work. Just if you're going to hand whisk it like I'm doing, it just takes a little bit of effort to get that tofu broken up. Tamari, yes, just about the same flavor as soy sauce. And the same thing, the sodium content is quite high, just like regular soy sauce, so I do recommend lightening it up with a little bit of the cocoa aminos. And then you might get to a point where you just use the coconut aminos, which would be even better. So there's that much less sodium to worry about. Sure. Yeah, the only thing with using an immersion blender or the regular blender is that I used crunchy peanut butter, and you're going to lose your crunchy bits if you use something like that. So it really didn't take too long. I don't know if you, oh, they're awesome. There it is. It's pretty smooth now. All right, so I'm going to put the noodles in there. So I pre-cooked the udon noodles. And again, any kind of noodle is going to work fine. Just whatever you love. These are wheat, regular wheat. Mm-hmm. Buckwheat, absolutely. Yeah. Actually, I'm headed to Japan with a small group of you. I don't know if any of my trip people are here. Oh, hello. So one of the things we're going to do is take a buckwheat noodle class when we're there. It is May 9th. It's coming up. I don't know about them, but I'm pretty darn excited. Yeah, we have a noodle class lined up, and then I have a friend there with a little restaurant that is only open from 6 to 10 p.m., and during the day he loves to have people over and teach them how to cook. So we will be going to him, spending the day with him, and learning how to make gyoza, ramen, and then a surprise dish, he tells me. So we'll let you know what that one turns out to be. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead, put these, transfer them to my serving bowl. So this is one of those dishes, like I mentioned, that if you just looked at it, you wouldn't realize it's hiding that tofu in there. So it's not done yet. We've got to make it look pretty and give it a little texture. So I'm going to chop some peanuts. So whoever wanted to use your immersion blender, you could go ahead and do that and then make up for it by sprinkling it with some peanuts that you chop afterwards. This recipe, it smells so good I could probably eat the whole bowl right now, but if it's an entree, I would say 2 hearty servings, but as a side dish, maybe 4. And it'll keep a day or 2 in the fridge, so you could, you can, just kind of eat out of it for a couple of days. So, all right, I'm going to put some chopped red pepper, just for some color. For those of you that have been here before, I'm always encouraging you to eat colorful food. Just remember that different colors represent different nutrients. So not only does colorful food look appealing and make us want to eat it, it's actually giving us a variety of nutrients that we need. So now some peanuts. And tidy up my bowl a little bit, but there we go. So udon tofu peanut noodles. It was easy, right? Yeah. No, thank you. How could I forget? See, I need you all here. Keep me honest. A nice garnish on this is some chili flakes. And I really, really, really love these Korean ones, gochugaru. The reason I love these versus the kind of chili flakes that we normally find here is that ours are usually full of seeds. And the seeds add nice heat, but they're not pleasant in the mouth. They're not fun to bite into. The Koreans take the time to seed the chilies before they grind them up. So it adds heat, but it doesn't add the seeds. No, it's not. It's good, I promise you. But thank you for whoever caught that. But I'll leave these here. I'm almost out, but it's good stuff. All right, I'm going to change gears real quick. The chili flakes, will it overwhelm it? Oh, cilantro. No, cilantro would be a lovely addition. Yeah, definitely.
If you heat it, serve it warm, does that change the consistency of the tofu?
Not really. I mean, it's just creamier, maybe slightly creamier. But yeah, I would just make it right in a saucepan and then drop your noodles into the warm sauce and stir it and serve it right away. That would be easy. All right. So who might try this recipe at home? Just curious. Thank you. So for those of you that have been here before, this is my shameless plug. I love it. I absolutely love it when you all make the recipes at home and send me pictures. I have a whole collection of pictures from the years of people that have done that for me, and it just makes me so happy to look at those. It's like, yes, that's why I spent half the night leaving myself notes on my nightstand about what to put in this recipe or how to improve that or whatever. It makes it all worthwhile when I see that. So feel free to send me photos of your handiwork. The next dish is also going to have sort of that hidden tofu element. It will look like a quiche, but it's actually a quiche mostly made with tofu. So, is anybody from the South? Anybody ever had Southern tomato pie? So, it's a delicious thing, but it's not vegan. So I've tried many versions over the years of trying to get it to taste as good as how I remember it when I was a vegetarian many years ago. It's basically a little egg and cheese and layers of thick-cut slices of tomatoes baked in a pie crust. So this will be a version of that. And it's really not that hard either, so I hope you'll consider making this at home as well. Yes, it could be made without the crust. Crust makes it really delicious. So I make no promises if you will love it or not, but okay, they threw me a curveball. Usually my trash can's on my right, and it's on the left, and that's why I keep... So I moved it back to the right. I hope that's okay. All right, so the authentic tomato pies I've had have had 2 layers of tomatoes in them, not just on the top like this recipe. But the problem is if you're not really careful to extract some of the moisture from the tomatoes, you can end up with a soggy tomato pie. So if this is your first time trying this, I didn't want you to have a soggy mess and think I gave you a horrible recipe. So I chose to put a layer of yellow potatoes in the bottom instead of a second layer of tomato. So that way it's not going to be soggy. It'll add some nice texture down there. And it'll still taste good because yellow potatoes are yummy too. But before I start, I am going to slice my tomatoes and put them on paper towels to dry out a little bit. You can use any kind of tomatoes that you enjoy. Right now there are some gorgeous heirloom tomatoes in the stores. So I'm using a beautiful yellow heirloom. and a gorgeous sort of a mixed color one. Tomatoes really hold a lot of water, so definitely don't skip this step. And then with these big slices, I'm going to need some tiny little tomatoes to fill in the gaps so it looks pretty. So I'm going to slice this little Campari tomato as well. That should be good. And we'll just let these sit like this while we do the rest. I'm going to, after, once this top layer of paper towel is saturated, I'm going to remove it and sprinkle a little salt on there. That will further pull a little more water out. What did I do with my dishcloth? Here we go. Okay. You know what? I'm going to do my pie crust first. I don't care what you say. All right. This is just a store-bought frozen pie crust. And if you go this route, read the label. You know what? Even if you're not a vegan or trying to be a vegan, if you just love to cook, I really encourage you to be a label reader anyway. Even if you're not eating as a vegan, vegetarian, whatever, I encourage you to know what you are eating. You want to know what everything is in your food. If it's something you've never heard of and can't pronounce, it might be a good idea to skip it and keep looking.
Chef, what brand is that?
This is the Whole Foods store brand.
Oh, and it's vegan?
It is.
Is that 365?
Yes. Yeah, these are from Whole Foods. So you just want to make sure your crust is touching the bottom in all areas. And then you'll have a little bit of excess. I usually just fold it under. And then I'll go back around and crimp it with my thumb. It's a lot easier than making a pie crust, I gotta tell you. All right, we'll just set that aside. But I can make pie crust. I've done it in this class before when we made empanadas. Is anybody here for empanadas? Okay. All right, I had fun, even if you weren't here. Okay, I'm going to take a half block of tofu. And I drained this tofu earlier, wrapped it in a paper towel, and then I wrapped it in a non-fuzzy dish towel just to get as much moisture out as possible. I don't know how much a block of tofu, how many ounces that is. Actually, I have this one here. Oh, you're right. It's a 16-ounce block. So, yes, that'd be 8. Okay. Let's get our sauce made first. What I like to do is just make your life easier and use your hands to crumble it up. I usually keep gloves in my cooking demonstration kit, and for some reason they're not in there today. I have a feeling my husband borrowed them for a home project. So we'll talk about that later today. This is a medium tofu. You can use the silken. In fact, it would be easier to use the silken. I just wouldn't get the firm or the extra firm. Actually, my favorite to use is sprouted tofu. It's in the firm tofu category, but it really is a much lighter texture than the standard firm. But the store I was at did not have that today. So now I'm going to add some cream cheese made from cashews. This is one of my favorite brands. It's called Treeline. It comes plain, it comes in a garlic herb flavor, it comes in a pimento flavor. Just has a really nice tangy taste to it. So you want to let this soften so that it's easy to incorporate. I'll leave this here in case anybody wants a closer look. And what else do we have in here? I'm going to use some vegan mayonnaise. I know that probably sounds quite strange, but it adds some tanginess, which I think is necessary for the dish. So I'm going to do about 3 tablespoons.
Does that mean that it's eggless?
Yes, this is vegan mayonnaise. This particular one is by Best Foods. There are many brands of vegan mayonnaise out there. Going to be honest, some of them are absolutely awful, but some are not bad, and this one is quite good. You can find it at Walmart, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's. They have a flavored one. It's a French brand, Alouette, I think, which makes a traditional one, but they also make a vegan one, which Trader Joe's sells. And it's fine to use the flavored one. It's just going to enhance your dish if you're making this recipe. The garlic herb would be a great fit. And some vegan Parmesan. This is one that I really like. It doesn't have, many of the vegan Parmesan substitutes are made with coconut oil, which we talked about earlier. My husband has to really watch his cholesterol, so I always try to make sure I don't buy things that have a lot of saturated fat and, of course, no cholesterol. But this one has 0 saturated fat, which is pretty unusual. Most of them are made with coconut, but this one is not. And the flavor is really, really good. And this one's, because I know somebody's going to ask, this one is from Whole Foods. It's called Madly Hadley. I don't know. Yeah. And I'll leave it on the desk. You're welcome to come and look at the products when we're done here. Okay, and then I'm also going to use a vegan egg substitute. And I make this sometimes without it, and that's fine, but I know some of you come to these classes because you're curious about the different products, so I try to use products that I think are great products as much as I can, just to maybe introduce you to them. This is a fantastic product. It's called Just Egg. If you put this in a pan and cooked it like you would scrambled eggs, I don't know if you'd know the difference. It's made from mung beans, which sounds really strange, but I'm telling you, give it a try. The only problem is that in the last 2 years, the price on it has gone crazy. This container used to be, it would fluctuate between $3.99 and $4.99 a container. I paid $9.99 for this. I know. Yeah. You could make a flax egg. A common substitute in vegan baking is to make an egg substitute with flaxseed. It's a tablespoon of ground flaxseed with 2 to 3 tablespoons of water, and you whisk it together, and it thickens, it kind of gels, so it kind of mimics the egg consistency. You can make it just without it if you don't want to use it, and it'll set up fine. Or you can add, flax seeds are good for us, so you could do the flax egg as well. The main thing is you just want to replace the moisture. So otherwise it'll be too dry if you don't add something with this amount of moisture. Let's see, what are we doing? We're doing a half cup. It gets its yellow color from just a little bit of turmeric, which is also quite good for us. But you can't taste it. It's not enough to come through in the flavor. But it doesn't have artificial coloring or anything in it. You can also buy this product in frozen little egg patties. Super easy way to make a healthier breakfast sandwich. And let's get some seasoning in here. Gonna put some granulated onion or onion powder. And I'm also gonna use some dried onion in this recipe. And why? That seems kind of strange. The reason is because even though I've done my best to pull some of the moisture out of the tofu, it's still watery. And so if I add something dry in there, it will hydrate on the excess moisture from the tofu, and that way you won't have a soggy product. Did I miss? Oh, some pepper. We need pepper. And a little bit of sea salt. And fresh herb of your choice. Get creative. You can even do a blend of herbs. But today I'm going to use some fresh tarragon. I love it. You don't find it in that many dishes. And I just saw it at the store and said, yeah, that's what we need to use. Did I miss the garlic?
You did.
Huh. Wow. Thank you. Just testing. Just want to make sure you're paying attention. Ay, ay, ay. I'm just going to say I'm a little rusty. Last time I did a class was in February. Yeah. And then the fall series, that was ages ago when I was here. Yes, garlic. Just using the one that I put away. That's right. Not the ginger. Couple cloves. 3. It's getting a little soft. The cubes aren't popping out like they should or could. There we go. Okay, now can I put the herbs in? Is it time? Okay, excellent. Yeah, yes, I did wash them. Thank you. This is great with fresh basil. I've made it with dill before. Whatever you like, whatever you have access to. All right, and we're gonna whisk this together. Check on our tomatoes, they're looking good. I think I'm gonna take these top paper towels off. Give them a little sprinkle of salt. There we go. Okay, that's pretty easy, right? All right. So if this were going straight into the oven, I would make it the way that I wrote in the instructions for you to do, which is starting with the filling, a layer of the filling on the bottom, and then a layer of the potatoes. But this is not going to see an oven for a couple of hours. And I don't want it to get the bottom crust soggy. So I'm going to actually put my potatoes on the bottom. Just made that executive decision. So these I pre-cooked, just put them in the microwave. I just sliced some baby yellow potatoes and just microwaved them with about a tablespoon of water, covered it, and it only takes, I don't know, about 4 minutes or so. So if you're making this at home and you cook your potatoes right as you're going along with the recipe, they're going to be warm. And that's actually a good thing because that will significantly speed up the cooking time. But when you put them in, if you do them ahead of time and they're cold from the refrigerator, it takes quite a while for the internal temp of your dish to get warm enough to start cooking. So just a little cheat if you're making a quiche or something like this. If you put the ingredients in just a little bit warm, it'll greatly speed up the cooking time and your crust won't burn while you're waiting for the insides to cook thoroughly. So now, let's put a layer of this in here. Actually, we'll put it all in here. So normally I would have put a little bit of filling on the bottom, potatoes, the rest of the filling, and then the tomatoes. Or if you were a Southerner who made this dish all the time, you'd put a couple layers of tomatoes throughout. But that's the advanced model that you've really got to make sure you get the moisture out of the tomatoes to make that one work. Whoops, and I think I told you to sprinkle a little Parmesan and salt and pepper on the potatoes, right? That's okay. My family's having this for dinner and they'll never know. Okay. What happened to my crust? It's not very pretty. Okay, so now it's time for the beautiful tomatoes. This will raise up a bit when it cooks. There have been, if you are a tomato fan like I am, there's been some beautiful dark purple heirlooms in the stores lately. I was hoping to get some of those, but they weren't there today. But yeah, get as many colors in here as you can. Yeah. It does, yeah. That's a good. I would say it'd be like a sort of a soft, a little bit softer quiche. But yeah, it's not, doesn't have, like the tofu is broken down enough that you don't get like curds like you would in a cottage cheese. I know it looks a little lumpy, but once it's baked for about 45 minutes, it's quite smooth inside, but it's not ultra firm, but it's firm enough that the slices hold nicely when you slice it like a pie. So I'm just, I usually use sea salt. Any kind of sea salt. All right, after it's baked, you can go back and put some little leaves here and there, make it look really pretty. This is what it's going to look like, but what did I do with my parsley I chopped earlier? Because I have one I made earlier, but I wanted to garnish it with parsley, and okay, nobody saw what I did with the parsley? I chopped parsley, I know I did. That was tarragon. So this one gets a little tarragon too. Yes, one thing I want you to know, even if chefs you see out there try to pretend like everything's always perfect, it's not, I swear. Way back when I first started my Instagram page, I burned a pot of rice really badly, like charcoal. And I put a picture of it on Instagram, and I had another chef just horrified. Why would you do that? Why? And I said, because it happens. It's real life. I mean, it's just because I do a lot of cooking, it doesn't mean things are always perfect. It's, far from it. So, yeah, I don't ever want it to be intimidating for you to try a new recipe or whatever. But this person was just horrified and just said, you can't do that. You can't let people know you burned rice. And it's like, well, but I did. So anyway, this is the cooked, finished product here. Thank you. This one is going home with me.
If we're going to make it at home, is it better with the sliced potato or with a double layer of the tomatoes?
Well, I think both options are delicious, but just if you do choose to do the tomatoes, make sure you dry the moisture out of them as best you can. Otherwise, I promise you it will be quite soggy. But so just do whatever whichever one sounds best to you. Okay, how are we doing on time? See, this is why they gave me an extra half hour. I tend to run over a bit. So for those of you that have been coming and think the class is only an hour like it used to be, it's now an hour and a half because they've learned that despite my best efforts, I tend to run over an hour. So I still have another dish. I hope you can all stay because it's going to be really yummy. This next dish is a really easy dish to put together. And I really want you to see this one if you have a tofu phobia, because this is how you make tofu delicious. This technique that I'm going to show you. My very favorite way to have tofu is to cook it in cornstarch and then seal that crispy crust with a really flavorful sauce. In my home, we make a burger substitute this way with just a square of the tofu, make it really, really crispy on the outside, and then flavor it with our favorite sauce. Anything's great. Teriyaki sauce. Sometimes I'll make like a bacon-flavored sauce. Just depends. So I'm going to start my tofu cooking first. So here's the other half of my tofu, which I now know is 8 ounces. And I'm going to just slice this, just to be simple, in rectangles. I'm going to cut it in half. So ultimately, quarters here. You don't want your tofu too thick. That's where a lot of places go wrong, in my humble opinion. If it's too thick, there's no way for that flavor to reach the inside of it, and you're going to bite into a bland piece of tofu. So my favorite technique is to coat it very well in cornstarch. So I mentioned I haven't done a class since February. Well, February, is there anybody here from my February class before I talk about you? It's the first time I've done a hands-on class in a while. When I first started here at the library, I don't know, I'm not sure how long ago it was, we had the idea that it would be a hands-on class, and we limited the class to 30 people. And that didn't work because we had people doing anything they could to get in, even when we were already maxed out at 30. And we had people, it was people behaving badly. It was kind of crazy. So we stopped doing the hands-on class and turned it into a demo like we're doing today. And I was just thinking, someone asked me to do a hands-on class for last February, and I thought, I haven't done that in a while. That'll be fun. Well, The cloud of cornstarch reminded me. We actually, in the class, made banh mi sandwiches, which is one of my favorite all-time sandwiches. But we did tofu banh mi, and I had the people coat the tofu and then cook it. Every 2 people had one of these little hot plates. And even though I said about 5 times, don't turn the hot plate on yet, the whole time I could hear this beep, 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 beep. People wouldn't stop. They wouldn't listen. These are adults. This wasn't a kid's class. Yes, thank you for asking. I do use avocado oil when I'm frying or need something for a high temperature. Avocado oil has a very high burn point, so it holds up better for frying than many oils. So your success with this technique really depends on you getting the excess moisture out of the tofu. If your tofu is very watery, it will stick to the bottom of the pan and nothing will get it off the bottom of your pan. You'll lose half your tofu. So by taking the moisture out with the cloths, with the napkins, and then coating it well in cornstarch, you're putting a barrier down so that there isn't any moisture that's going to get to the pan and stick. If you're not careful and you don't coat the tofu well, it can stick in the thin spots. So make sure you really coat it well. Well, in my house, I don't put the book on it. I have a cutting board that I set on top of it. But the first thing I do when I open the tofu is to kind of drain it while it's still in the package over the sink, and then pull it out of the container and kind of gently with my hands give it a little squeeze, get a little more moisture out, and then I go to the towels. And then usually it'll take 2 or 3 towels to like really get that moisture out. And then a little bit of weight on top and a fresh towel, like a cutting board or your book. Yeah, it helps. You know what? I've been tempted over the years to buy a tofu press. Someone was asking about that. Have not. I've never bought one. I was actually thinking this year I might bring one home from Japan. We'll see. I'll let you know in the fall. Yes. Yes. Yes, that's an excellent technique. And the other thing, she was telling me she likes the freezer technique. That is a great way if you don't mind taking that extra step. What happens is, my favorite thing about that technique is it makes the tofu very light and airy, because that water in there, of course, when it freezes, it expands, so it makes these little air pockets in there. So you fry it or cook it or whatever, when you bite into it, it's just light and fluffy. It's a wonderful way to prepare it.
So you put it in the freezer? Yeah.
You can put the package right in there. I take it out of the package, drain some water off, wrap it, and throw it in the freezer. But oh, you cube it first? Okay. Okay. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I've actually, I've frozen tofu and cooked with it in a class here. I have a salad that I really like to make, and I like to do that technique for the tofu that goes in the salad. Yeah. So I'm just making sure even my ends are covered. Sounds like a lot of fuss, but it really makes a difference. Oh, so back to my hands-on class in February. I was going to tell you that every single one of them went home just coated in cornstarch. There was this one man who was absolutely adorable, probably in his mid-90s. He was so excited to be cooking his tofu. But that man, He came in with black socks and he left with white socks. Maybe not. I don't know. This class in February was 20, but here at the library I did 30 when we first started doing the classes here. And I was, I came in one day and I pitched the idea to TJ that introduced me earlier, and then the library director, Aaron. We sat around a table and I tried to tell them why people might be interested in plant-based cooking classes, and they're both looking at me like, I don't know. And so they finally decided to give it a try, but we were going to do the hands-on approach. And that first day I was so scared that... So what happened is you had to register for the class. So when registration went live, I just was at home on pins and needles doing this. And then I found out that I set a record, the class filling up. And my next closest rival was a class on turkey vultures. But the class filled up quickly, fortunately, and then the rest is history. Here I am. We've got some loyal people that have been coming. I see your familiar faces, and then it's so nice to have new faces too. So please keep coming because I want to keep getting asked back to the library. So I just love cooking this tofu this way. You'll see how they're not stuck at all. If you didn't take the steps that I'm mentioning, they would be cemented to the pan. I'm cooking these on medium-high heat. So I can do a couple of other things if you don't let me get distracted and forget my tofu. I am going to put some yummy things in here. And this is going to be a nice entree salad. Yep, so I'm going to flip them when they are golden brown on one side. But the first thing I'm going to do is I have some black beans, just canned black beans that I drained and I rinsed really well. For this dish, you really want to go the extra mile and rinse them well. Otherwise, your salad is going to have that bean sludge from the bottom of the can, which, it's best to avoid that for the salad. It's fine if you're throwing a can into soup or something, but for the salad, you don't want them all sludgy. And then I'm just going to put some barbecue sauce on these beans, just enough to lightly flavor them. Use your favorite brand. I could not find my favorite brand today, which is a cleaner brand, because yes, I do read the labels. This label doesn't, I wasn't very happy with what I saw, but I was in a rush and couldn't find what I was looking for. Anyway, I knew somebody would ask me that, and I can't think of the name. But my favorite barbecue flavor is a spicy sweet combo. And I know there's so many types of barbecue sauce out there, so you probably already have your favorite in the fridge at home. So I'm just flavoring these beans just lightly with the barbecue sauce. That's step one. We're going to let those sit. And I'm just going to take some mixed greens. This is just a container of Little Gems, organic lettuces. Thank you. See? Another beautiful color. Thank you for paying attention. And I'm going to just sprinkle some of the beans around. Let's see. Well, this barbecue sauce may have ingredients I don't approve of, but it really does smell quite good. Yeah, it is.
Is it the no sugar added?
No, the first ingredient is something that I never buy in products, and it's a high fructose corn syrup. Yeah. Desperate times, desperate measures. Okay. I'm also going to make some salad dressing just really easily with my barbecue sauce and some vegan ranch dressing. This is the same company that makes the egg product we used in the other dish. It's called Just. And this has one of the best flavors, ranch flavors we've had with the vegan dressings.
Did you find that at Whole Foods?
Yes, you can find this dressing at Whole Foods. I'm not sure who else has it. Almost there. So super easy. Yes, we can make homemade ranch. I think I've given you a recipe for that in the past, but this is a fast and easy way to do it too. Okay, we're almost ready. So just as these become golden brown on all sides, so close but not quite. Am I doing okay for time? Oh, I want to get some tomato. Look at me multitasking. I am not going to let that tofu burn today. So that's a great question. Someone asked if you can season the cornstarch that you're dipping your tofu in. Absolutely you can. I don't find it necessary when I'm using it this way because it's going to be totally coated in the barbecue sauce. But if I wasn't adding a sauce to this, then yes, that's a great way to do it, is to season your cornstarch mixture. All right, I'm getting tired of waiting, so we're just going to go for it. All right, so what I'm going to do is take the sauce, and again, it doesn't have to just be for this dish. You can use this technique for anything. Any kind of sauce works great. And I'm just going to flip it in the sauce, make sure everything is really well coated. Needs more. Can you smell it? Right, I'm going to turn my heat off because the sauce will burn easily at this point. And I'm just really making sure everything is well coated. So the nice thing is, because we coated the tofu with the cornstarch, some of the cornstarch ended up in the pan as the tofu cooked. So when you add the sauce, it thickens nicely because there's already some cornstarch in your pan. So it makes a nice thick coating on your tofu. Okay, those are absolutely perfect, if I do say so. And we'll go ahead and build this salad. So we've got some tomatoes. I'm just going to sprinkle these around the outside maybe. Oh. I don't think they ever have used cornstarch that I'm aware of. Usually, yeah, I don't know. But possibly. All right, so I steamed some corn in the microwave. And I'm going to try and keep my knife as close to the cob as I can so that I get some strips of corn like so, rather than having the kernels separate. Why go to the hassle? It's going to look really pretty. It's a little bit easier to do if you cut your corn in half before you cook it. See how much easier it is to get a nice cut there. I should have broken all of them in half, but it wasn't that smart. Okay. So there's our corn already. And I'm going to take these out now. And I'm going to cut them. I'm just going to do, I don't know if you can hear the crispy coating as I'm cutting it, but you could. Yeah, this is, does anybody have my most recent cookbook? No, it's the soup, salads, and sandwiches. I have one of my favorite, using this technique, one of my favorite dishes is a, what is it? It's a sort of like a burger, but it's a big square of tofu cooked like this, and with toasted sesame. And then I put a sesame coleslaw on top of the burger and have it on a pretzel bun. It's quite yummy. But this technique can take you lots of places. It's easy to adapt to many recipes. And it will make your life easier because tofu can be a pain in the neck to cook. Because like I said, it loves to stick to the pan. So now I'm just going to take my corn. Well, we eat with our eyes first, right? And then I ended up, despite my best efforts, with some loose kernels anyway, but that's okay. And then I'm going to drizzle some of our barbecue ranch dressing on it. And then I have one final thing I want to put on top. But just maybe lightly drizzle. This makes a really nice hearty dinner. Avocado would be good on here, yes. Whoops, see, it can be dangerous to be in the front row. I almost splashed. I have one little indulgent thing that I love to put on the top of a salad like this. Crispy onions. Oh, you know what? I lied. I also want to put a few green onions. Speaking of onions. Crispy onions make everything taste good. Okay, do you think anybody would make this at home? Oh, who's going to send me a picture? I'm going to remember that. Okay. All right, a barbecue tofu salad. Thank you. So I hope we're just about done, but I do have 5 door prizes today. And I've got some help with the winners. So if your recipe guide has any of those numbers on it, come on up for some udon noodles so you can make your own peanut pasta. Do hope to see you all next Monday and the following Monday. Anybody have number 35? 46? Sure. 51? 62? 80? Nobody?